Welcome back to R&R on Sports. Bet. There again. See what I'm saying?
See, I'm like like the NBC, they got the little
Peacock.
ding ding ding. So it's like bet, and then to be like, man, that's KUDZUKIAN right there.
Oh, it's an ID. It's an ID.
Yeah, it's an ID.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that. That's
right.
that. Yeah.
One that we can do without. As always, we have only the best interviews, only the greatest athletes of all time here on R&R, and today is absolutely no different. It is absolutely, totally my privilege.
Your privilege?
My privilege.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm from the South.
Your lips is getting in the way.
My
man.
privilege.
Your lips is getting in the way.
We talk like this.
Okay, go
my
ahead.
privilege and pleasure.
Privilege and pleasure. Alliteration of
To introduce to everyone, world class, the icon of track, and
this is
the
110.
You want to be quiet?
Come on, man. Get to the brother so he won't be sitting there. He's all wet, sweating, and waiting.
Mute him. The king of all time, the greatest of all time, 110-meter hurdles or 120-yard, whichever you prefer. We're talking about the incomparable Renaldo Skeets, Nehemiah. Welcome to R&R, brother Skeets.
Hey, good to be on, guys.
What's happening, brother? How you doing, man?
I am.
Now listen, man. Listen,
well.
I'm trying to hold this dude back. He's like fanning out and stuff. So listen, man. Take your time, breathe, and then ask your question. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
I know it's tough for
Skeets, we're glad to have you, man. Seriously.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We always start out with the journey. So talk about growing up where in New Jersey?
I'm from Scotch Plains in New Jersey.
Where the hell is that?
Close to what?
Next door to Plainfield, about 45 miles south of Newark. Yeah. Union.
A lot of great track athletes
but he was the blue blood. Sound like he had a little blue blood part in him. He was from the other side of the tracks. Is that right?
A little bit.
Okay, all right.
Talk about it. Growing up in Jersey.
He wasn't running on cinder tracks.
Well,
he wasn't.
I did run on cinders.
Did you?
Yeah, I caught the tail end of the cinders.
All right.
I did. Yeah. I grew up just like most kids, running, on the streets and racing your friends. And I was the fastest kid on my block in my neighborhood, and which made me think I was something. And then I played all the sports, football and basketball and baseball. I actually quit track early on because when I went across town to run the other neighborhoods, I realized I wasn't the fastest kid anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So So the hurdles happened to be a blessing to me because in 9th grade, when I went out for the team, no one really wanted to try the hurdles. Everybody was somewhat apprehensive. And our home, we had a split rail fence around the front of our home. And I used to always run and jump it all the time. So it seemed like a natural, I'll do it, and it made me stand out. The only one who had, I guess, the courage at that particular time to try something that was not familiar with a lot of kids. But I grew up in a household that my mother passed away when I was in 9th grade, 14 years of age, through lung and breast cancer. But so she never got to see the fruition of my talent. But my dad was there and taught us to play all the different sports. I was college recruited for football, even though I didn't go to play college football. And played basketball, played all the sports. Just back then, we didn't know it. Today's term, you call it cross training.
Yes. Right. Yes.
And then as I got better, I started getting penalized for, because they wanted to make you one-dimensional. You can only be good in one thing. How dare you want to be good in a variety of things? And so I was forced, by circumstances to, track and field. And then later on, I went on to play, obviously, the NFL, which, circle back into football. But I coined myself a rebel with a cause. I would do something in spite of what someone else said I couldn't do. And I grew up. My father was a very the blueprint of my life, which is that the only fear I ever had, which was a healthy fear, was my dad and the fear of not trying. My dad had an intolerance for not trying. Didn't mind if you didn't win or didn't do your best, but it was unacceptable in the Nehemiah household not to try. And so, so track. It also even though I grew up in team sports, I realized that I grew up in an area where boosters had a lot of influence on our teams, you know,
Right.
in high school
Right.
and high school, and not
Right.
always the best guy played. It was
Right.
more or less, you know, whoever was giving the most money to the school.
Right.
And I didn't like that. And track and field afforded me the right to say, if I'm better than you, I can show you.
It was a true
And I
meritocracy.
don't need 10 guys or 4 guys to help me. I can do it myself. And I was willing to take.
When did you know you were extraordinary? At what point did it click that you said, wait a minute?
You know, guys, I really didn't know probably until I broke my first world record, you know, when I was 18 years of age. I mean, I knew I was pretty good, but, you know, you hear the typical story where people are always telling you you can't do something, or that's impossible, or the measuring stick is based on someone else who couldn't do it. And so my rebel with the cause was that I was defiant. You know, I was one that would be determined, consume the sponge to learn as much as I could. There was something about the hurdles that was incredible to me, running, you know, an imbalance, but yet perfectly in balance, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And yet, because sprinting, I could sprint, but I thought that was boring. But sprinting over an obstacle and with all the variables and the variances, that just made me keen on wanting to conquer that event. And it became, you know, it was the symbol of the sport. You know, it encompasses all the strength, speed, agility, balance, power. But yeah, I've been, you know, I was told a lot, you know, based on other kids who were bigger than me that, you know, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that. But I had this innate ability to take what you would say to me, visualize it instantly, and then make my body replicate it. And that was profound in the hurdles.
So wait a minute, let me ask you one quick question. What music fueled that period of your life?
I've been a jazz guy my whole life.
All right.
You know, lyrics are fine, but the music could speak to my spirit and my soul. And, you know, I went to high school and I had a music saxophone scholarship when I was younger.
Oh,
so
did
music,
you?
Yeah. So music was always, you know, in my
spirit
and my soul.
My man.
So, you know, people ask me, you know,
hurdles and sax.
What kind of music did I listen to when warming up? And it was jazz, you know, R&B jazz, instrumental jazz. It didn't matter. It was something that could just fill my soul and my spirit, because I could hear every nuance of the instruments that were playing.
Right.
And so in hurling, you have to be aware of everything that's going on all the time, and yet still be in control of it. And so that spoke to me.
So I got a couple. Oh, obviously, I got a lot of questions. But look.
So wait a minute.
Let me. No. Hush. Mute his mic, please.
Wait a minute. So look, I ain't gonna get to participate.
Not anymore. You already did. It's over. It's done. All right. So look. Talk about this. Talk about. You know, they got a series. They got these movies called the Fast and Furious.
Is this like a book?
No. They got these
Diesel.
movies called The Fast and the Furious. For you,
Vin Diesel
would be The Fast and the Flawless. You over a hurdle is amazing. You are so. My question is that training? Did you have a serious coach, hurdles coach, in terms of training, or is that natural?
It's a combination of both. One, I was in love and enamored with the event. And then 2, my coach always told me to be like a dancer, become one with the hurdle. And so to embrace the hurdle. And 3, and most importantly, I had 3 of the most, not including my high school coach, 3 of the most brilliant hurdle coaches that lived in the state of New Jersey. Rod Milburn's coach.
Rodney Milburn.
Yeah, Rod Milburn, my idol. His coach, Dick Hill, lived in New Jersey. Wilbur Ross, who wrote the Hurdler's Bible, who's touched every great hurdler known to man, lived 45 minutes south of me. And then Russ Rogers was the coach at Fairleigh Dickinson, then Essex Community College, Fairleigh Dickinson. So when they heard of me in 9th grade, my coach, Gene Poquette, realized his limitations, so he sought them out. And for days and weeks at a time, I'd have 3 of the greatest hurdle minds watching me develop and teaching me all the nuances and intricacies of hurdling. So I always tell people I had an unfair advantage. 1, I had this innate ability of this love affair. And 2, the visualization asset that I had. And then you have 3 brilliant minds alongside of me, molding me and teaching me the nuances of the hurdles. And so all I had to have is the desire and the passion coupled with their expertise. And I think, and through maturation, the rest would be, as they say, history. And so I embraced it. I wanted to defy everything known to man if I could. And I didn't know what that meant. I just meant beating myself. I was the man. You know, it had nothing to do with anybody else.
I understand that you started running 42-inch barriers in high school.
Well, yes, I ran 42. I even ran 45s in practice, just get used to it. And in my dual meets, you know, in preparation for conference championships and state championships, coach would have me run 42s in the races against everyone else who was running 39s.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I didn't like that because I did not want to be at a disadvantage. But I hated losing more than anything. So it was like, okay, so you're going to put that up against me, 42s? Okay, I'm going to show you. And I would embrace it. And that was the rebel in me. You're not going to deny me.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. This is our own sports, man. And we doing it as we normally do.
I'm telling you.
We here with the great
telling you.
Ronaldo, Skeets, Nehemiah.
I am glad that you talked a little bit about what made you love the race. Because when you think about it, it's most amazing. And it is something, it's not a race that most people understand. Most people think it's about clearing the back. It's about it, like, please don't say jumping hurdles. All right. I will backhand you.
Don't say that.
I will back. See, you hear that?
Hurdles that jump don't win.
It ain't jumping hurdles. That's what I thought it was.
No, we can.
So listen, man. There's a couple things I want to know when we come back.
Okay, yeah, because we got to go to break.
Because I guarantee you, when he played in NFL, it was one moment he was like, "What the hell was I thinking?"
He's not going to admit that.
With the great Renaldo, Skeets, Nehemiah.
Right after this.
On sports. Right after this. Let me do my job, man.
That's not your job. You don't do that. I do this.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, one and all, to the little show that we like to call Black Nerd Power, BNP if you're nasty. I'm your host, Mr. Richard Douglas Jones, and with me, the co-hosts of Black Nerd Power, Mr. Marcus Seabury.
What's up, my nerd?
All nerd, please. And Ms. Kimber. What's happening, man?
Hi.
All right, first, here is the rage figure.
I love his helmet.
Talking about escapism and like, yo, I'm mad, but I'm tired. Like, is it okay that, like, if instead of going out to protest tonight, I want to sit and watch a movie? I'm just like, hell yeah, it's fine.
A quote unquote woke romance that features a character that's not being like objectified for her body. That does not necessarily mean that book will not have sex in it.
And I think on that note, we're going to end the show.
KUDZUKIAN. Download the KUDZUKIAN app, available on Android and iOS.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. That's good. That's real nice. That's real nice, Larry. You did that very well, man.
I appreciate you coming to respect my capabilities.
Yeah, man. Especially the little vibrato and falsetto thing.
Yeah.
You got.
Want me to do it again?
The falsetto fetish that you got. Wanted to be Smokey Robinson all your life, didn't you?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Tears of a clown.
Please. So, oh man, I appreciate you talking about what made you love the race, man, because I can relate. It's
dude, you can't relate.
Yes,
dude,
I can.
You went as far as the intramural squad at the local middle school. You ain't ran hurdles no more than that. I can relate.
I was
a
school
gold medalist.
record holder.
Listen, man, stop.
I was
Bruh,
a school record
I want to
holder.
know, how did it feel to train for 4 years? 4 whole years. How many days is that? I know you don't know, do you? So listen, about 1,200 days. About 1,200 days you train to go to the Olympics and then learn that you can't go. What were the thoughts that went through your head? How did that make you feel? And how many asses did you want to kick?
It was 1,400 in some days.
It was,
Yeah,
really?
your non adding up as.
Yeah, it was not a happy time at all. I mean, I was, in a word, pissed because this was the only thing we had to look forward to. This was the utopia of our sport once every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And to bring politics into it, which to me, I can't stand politics for that very reason. But then what even made it worse was when they allowed the Winter Olympians to go. And as we all know, the Miracle on Ice, and they beat the Russians and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was lulled into thinking that the optimistic opportunity that now that we beat them, we'll go show them that we'll beat them in the summer games. And at that time, I had a hint of bias in me when it came to what the Winter Olympics represented, which was white America, and what the Summer Olympics represented, which was more Black and brown America.
Right.
And so that really enraged me.
Wow.
And I also knew that it wasn't going to end there, because there was talk of retaliation for the 1984 Olympic Games.
Right.
So the thought of training another 4 years and then have those games be tainted in some way or form, it was very easy for me at that time when the Niners came knocking to say, hey, maybe I should go there, because remember, I was still an amateur. So we still weren't making money. It was just running for a gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
So the 49ers, I've told people, they saved my athletic career at that point, because I had just graduated from the University of Maryland and quite frankly needed a job. Running, getting my name in the paper, getting a medal was nice, but it wasn't going to pay bills. So the Niners allowed me to not only get paid for my talent, but continue to be an athlete at that high level.
Okay. So now that makes a whole bunch of sense. But I still got to ask the question. When was it that hit? When you went across the middle, or when you had to do some kind of drill? When was it that you said, this is crazy as heck? Let me get out of here.
So it wasn't so much, I played football in high school. And I was quarterback, and I was recruited around the country. But I graduated high school. I was like 5'9", 155 pounds. So I just knew I wasn't big, and I felt I wasn't big enough to play in college. So I chose to run track. But it wasn't so much, and when you have Ronnie Lott and Carlton Williamson, we got 4 All-Pros as defensive backs, and Hacksaw Reynolds and all these Fred Dean's Hall of Famers on my team.
That you practice against every day.
Right.
I told everybody if I could make it through practice, the game was easy because these boys were serious.
I bet.
But it was a cumulative effect. It wasn't so much it was breaking down of my body, which I was so in tune with. In practice and running, if you feel something in your hamstring, that's the end of practice.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's it. And you get treatment and you wait and you kind of ease your way back into it. The machismo attitude in pro game is that, you got to know the difference between injury and pain. And I remember telling Bill Walsh when he said that to me, I said, Coach, they're the same. They're the same. And he goes, no, you can play with pain. You can't play with an injury. And that didn't compute to me. So as I started getting injuries over the course of my career, getting knocked out, having knee surgery, arthroscopic knee surgery, busting my elbow, dislocated fingers, fracturing the top 4 of my teeth when I got speared, when I got knocked out.
Whoa.
I started putting into summation, wow, I trained my entire life to be in tune with everything about my body.
Right.
And it is going through the toilets right now. So it was that realization that, wow, I was the world's greatest hurdler. And man, I am literally getting maimed, over the course of this. But those were the options that I was facing.
Right.
I wasn't fearful of it because I chose to do it. I had some familiarity with it playing in high school. But it was just that realization to which I was like, okay, you might not ever be physically the guy that you used to be as a hurdler, but this is America's pastime, football, and it's a violent game, and they do try to hurt you.
That had to be psychologically damaging too, because the hardest thing that you hit was a hurdle, banging against a hurdle and whatnot, and you go from that
to Ronnie Lott.
to Ronnie Lott. Somebody 200 pounds at full velocity coming at you.
who didn't mind hurting themselves to hurt you.
Oh, no.
Right.
Kamikaze is the word.
That
Right.
is
Yeah.
crazy.
You know, Ronnie Lott used to
Definitely.
say prior to a game to the team, leave a piece of yourself on the field today. And he meant that literally. And I remember hearing that and I go, who does that? Who says that?
Oh,
You
my
know,
goodness.
Oh, man.
But they were the greatest teammates that I've ever been around. I'm still friends with so many of them today. But, you know, and so many people, you know, I couldn't have gone to a better situation, first and foremost. You know, the 49ers were just coming into becoming a dynasty when I
you
arrived.
won a Super Bowl,
And
right?
you got
I won a Super Bowl in
ring.
'84.
You got
Yeah,
your ring? You still got your ring?
I do. Yes, I
Okay.
do.
Okay.
And it's right behind me, actually. So I just my frustration with the Niners was a blessing and a curse. Bill Walsh happened to be a fan of mine prior to coming to the Niners. I did not realize the significance of that. And Bill said to me, when I got knocked out my second year, the Atlanta Falcons, Bill met with me and he said he never wanted to see that happen to me again. I was the world's greatest hurdler, and he could not have me get maimed in this game. So that altered the course of the next 2 years that I played with the Niners. So Bill would, like, if I was having a good game, Bill would take me out just to kind of humble me and put my feet on the ground and say, okay, now watch and not overexpose me. Or it became very known to everybody that when we played on artificial turf, I'd play 80% of the time. When we played on grass, I might play 15, 20% of the time. And I remember coming to the coach and say, Bill, why am I playing more on turf than grass? And he say, because on turf, you're way faster than everybody. And I said, Bill, if I'm faster than them, period, it doesn't matter what the surface is. But the grass could give way. Things could happen with the grass.
Right.
And he thought I had more sound footing on me because I was so fast and cutting that he just he was like a surrogate father to me, you know, quiet as it's kept. And he was always protective of me. So it didn't matter if I was having a hot game. One game I had 6 catches, 125 yards. He would pull me out. He didn't care because he just felt that one extra exposure could be that one time that could be it for me. Because remember, when I was playing, the game is vastly different back then than it is today. So I mean, today you can stand up like a statue. You can run across the middle because you can't get speared. That wasn't around. LT and those guys would take you out.
Right. This is Iron Iron Sports, and we're speaking with the great Renaldo Skeets Nehemiah.
So when you started, and now I know the guys on your team, I know you came to love them and whatnot, but question is, in practice and particularly against competition, other teams, you think they had it in for you?
It was tough. Remember, my first year, 1982, was a strike-shortened year. And I had just signed a 4-year guaranteed contract.
Whoa.
So while we're in a walkout,
somebody who did not play
strike,
college football.
and I didn't play college football, I'm coming in there, and while we're on strike, I'm still getting paid. So that really peeved certain guys. And guys were coming at me in practice. I mean, all the time, gnawing at my head, you know, just making comments to get in my head.
Yeah.
And it was annoying. It really was. But, you know, but you can't be the best in the world and not be arrogant. So my internal arrogance said, I've been all around the world, and it was me against 7 other people. Half the time I couldn't even understand what they said.
Right.
and I stood the test, and it was me against them and all these other fans who I didn't know. And so when I came to the Niners, my arrogance said, well, I need 10 guys to help me. So I can't do my thing until, you know, the line blocks for Joe. He gets the right defensive call. He throws the ball right. And then once the ball is in the air, then I'm on display. So I felt I had a great supporting cast.
Right.
And think about it. These guys have all been either All-Americans in college or you know, and had to be, you know, high draft choices and all that.
Right.
But I would come to this team and I couldn't believe some of the insecurities that these guys had compared to me. You know, I was a guy that didn't even play. What are you worried about me for, right? And yet the envy and I guess my confidence, you know, didn't sit well with a lot of guys, but they didn't understand I wasn't overly confident about them, but I've been the best in the world for X amount of years.
Right.
You know, against all kind of odds. So of course I'm going to have confidence, you know.
And that's where the envy came in. The envy came in being the best of the world at anything.
Exactly.
I mean, they envy that because.
And they would interview me just as much as they would interview Joe Montana when I first got there. So I was, you know, I was the boy wonder, and that rubbed people the wrong way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a lot to say, and I was confident. And so guys in practice wanted to test my, you know, my physicality. And,
Yes.
you know, and then my surrogate father, after a while, would look at these guys and say, back off. And that pissed them off even more because now I was the chosen one. We can't touch him.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
So I had to deal with that.
We got a couple minutes, so we got to find out about what he's doing now and what's next.
So ask the question. You already did.
Yeah.
Talk
There
to
you
us,
go.
man.
There you go.
What's happening in your life now?
Well, I'm still in sports, and I'm a sports marketing president of a sports marketing company, and I represent the track and field Olympic athletes because the sport's been pro since when 1983. And so I'm marketing all the running billboards out there. I've represented the greats, Allison Felix. I still have Justin Gatlin.
Good.
Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So so I'm still heavily involved in that. And
all right, so you got to send all those this way now. You got to send in Justin Gatlin.
Yeah, have him come on your show. Yeah.
He and my son were suite mates at UT.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a different game today. These kids today, like I have 7-figure clients who, I'm happy for everybody who, has, as the sport has progressed. But like a lot of these guys and girls don't even know that the Nehemiah rule, you might not even know it. The Nehemiah rule, which is named after me, came into place in 1983 that allowed amateurs to compete as professionals in another sport. Because when John Elway was getting paid by the Yankees, I got banned when I went to play for the Niners. And so I had to go to court for 4.5 years to get reinstated. And through that
amateur status.
Yeah. So through that whole process, the Nehemiah rule came into effect. So now the amateur versus pro, has been viewed totally different as a result of my fight. And I always tell these guys and girls, in order to grow in your place in history, you got to know the history, because you just didn't wake up today and the sport was pro.
There you go.
There were some foundational steps and some sacrifices that people had to make in order for you to be where you are today. So I'm so happy for them, but I'm also sad because a lot of them, they don't love the sport. They're only in it for the money. And that's why their careers are so short, because my generation, we loved it. And it was us against them. And we go to war and we root for each other.
Well, you wasn't making no money either.
No, and that's probably why we had to be bonded like that.
Right.
But today everybody is selfish and into their own thing, and it doesn't mean that's bad for them, but the sport really isn't as popular as it used to be because of that. They protect their rankings. Greg Foster and I ran almost weekly. We were at each other's throats. Today, they kind of protect their rankings. They only run at the championship. So you might see them race each other 2 times a year. I'm not hating on that. It's just a matter of, I don't see the camaraderie across the board with everyone. So I'm always saying, man, you guys, you don't act like you love this sport. You're only in it for social media and what you can get out of it. What are you going to put into it? What are you going to leave? Because if all someone has to say about Renaldo Nehemiah is that I was a great hurdler and they end the topic, then I didn't do anything. I want them to say, well, what else? He did this, he was doing that. We speak about him in glowing terms. And just so you know, because you called me a gold medalist, I never went to the Olympic Games. I've never been to Olympic Games. I'm an Olympian in 1980, but I've never marched into an Olympic stadium as an Olympian because in 84 I was playing with the Niners. But to this day, I have to correct people when they say Renaldo Nehemiah, gold medal winner, because I did so much that they had just assumed I was a gold medal winner.
Yeah.
And I said, that's a compliment. So
you got a medal. Didn't you get a presidential medal or something?
I have it behind me. I have Jimmy Carter's little symbolic gold medal. But
I know it doesn't compare.
Yeah. But my point is, a dear friend of mine, Roger Kingdom, is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in my event.
Yeah.
And I'm more known than he is.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to transcend your sport and you have to do something that captivates the imagination. So because we only had our sport, we didn't have social media and all this stuff. My fan base is strictly off of the eye test, what people saw.
Right. In my day, it was Tom Hill.
Yes,
Tom
Tom
Hill
Hill.
was the king of the
He
hill
was the
in
man.
my day. Yes.
Yes, yes,
I
great
looked over.
man.
We were in a heat at Madison Square Garden. I looked over there about fainting.
You was in the stands.
I'm going. No, I wasn't in the stands.
You wasn't
I
on
was
the
in
track.
the stand- I was in
Oh,
the
you were
track.
saying you had the
Starting
gun.
line.
You was starting it up. You
No,
starting
no,
the
no,
game.
no,
You
no.
starting the race.
I had skills, man. I mean, Skeets, listen, man. You made me want to go back and relive my track days.
Shut up.
By the time
Quit
I
lying,
wish
man.
I had seen you before I got out of college and got a wife and some kids
Why?
and had a real job.
Because you wouldn't have ran.
We appreciate you being here
Yeah,
on
my pleasure.
our
I
own
enjoyed
sport,
it.
man.
Enjoyed it. God
And
bless you
this is
both.
like being in the Costa Nostra, baby. You know,
Thanks so
when
much.
we pick up the phone and call,
Listen.
you got one word answer.
He ain't even been
yes.
Yes,
He
sir.
ain't even been to
All right.
Olive Garden trying to talk about somebody Italian, Costa Nostra.
And he's from Jersey too. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm talking about. We'll be back. We appreciate having you, man. We'll be back for more on our own sports right after this.
Boy, you crazy.
Funky Politics. Hey, Funky Politics fans, it is DC. What a week, what a month, what a year. 2020, y'all. The information we give you here is always entertaining and it's always educational. And look, let me tell you something. We got more great shows coming your way.
That's the weirdest stuff I've ever seen in my life. I don't even understand how do you do that.
So make sure you stay tuned for more Funky Politics. Funky Politics, powered by the KUDZUKIAN Network. That's right, folks. We're funky sometime. We funky your time. We funky all the time up in here. So make sure you stay tuned for more Funky Politics.
Check out all your KUDZUKIAN favorites now. Download the KUDZUKIAN app, available on Android and iOS.
And we're back. Oh,
Lord. Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. Listen, man, don't take us out, man. Since you're gonna act like that, you're not willing to enjoy this moment of fun and hilarity.
I'm not having
with
fun,
this
man.
brother named Larry. With this brother named Larry.
Something bad wrong with you. It's a shame. It's a shame.
Hey, man, I'm
Your
happy. It's life, man.
Children got to grow up with a debilitated daddy.
But their daddy's having some fun though. His daddy laughing a lot, so we make happy kids.
All right. So we always give shout outs and pay our respects at this time of the show. And mine go out to one of the greatest baseball players of all time.
Who would that be?
His name is Lou Brock.
Wow. St. Louis,
Lou
right?
Brock, St. Louis Cardinals. Yes.
Wasn't that
Growing
like
up in Memphis, Tennessee.
That was the team you guys
That's
watched
who
as a
we
kid.
had to. You had to.
If
we
you
gonna
had
listen
the
to
Cincinnati Reds in Louisville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had to watch the Cincinnati Reds game.
Where you had no choice in Memphis, and growing up with greatest generation parents.
Right.
Our daddies were
Watch
into baseball.
Yeah.
Into baseball. Lou Brock was phenomenal. He could hit, but most importantly, he could steal some bases.
Really?
Oh my Lord.
That's amazing.
He was a pitcher's nightmare. So all the best to the memory of Lou Brock and his family. We wish you well, brother.
Well, listen, man. There was this dude that lived across the street from us on 35th Street in Louisville, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned about Lou Brock.
Mm-hmm.
And I also learned about Johnny Bench and Joe Morgan and those guys and Pete Rose and so on and so forth, because we had to listen to the Cincinnati Reds. So that's how I learned about Lou Brock, because it was always a big deal when St. Louis Cardinals played the Cincinnati Reds.
Johnny Bench could throw your butt out sitting down.
Oh yeah, he was a bad boy. So listen, so shout out to Mr. Bob Taylor from 35th Street in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, my shout out.
All right,
I got a young one.
Go for it.
These young people have made me so proud, man. These young people, man, that the protesting and really standing up for the rights of everyone, equality. And you know, when someone puts their popularity from sports on the line, I have to give them a special shout out.
Okay.
So you go in the line of Colin, LeBron James, and I want to go in another direction as far as tennis.
Okay.
Naomi Osaka.
That
young lady is really, I mean, she shut the industry down. She made tennis stop for one day. She said, I'm not playing. Let her know how much power she has, man. And she has used that well. And I think we're looking at a young warrior. Really impressed with her and want to give her some love and light.
I
And
think
hope
she's
you
got.
keep on pushing.
I think
sister.
she's got
Keep
like
on pushing,
7
young
different
sister.
masks
Yeah,
that she with the
Breonna Taylor,
names and
Ahmaud.
Ahmaud,
Well, listen,
Arbery.
Ahmaud Arbery and Trayvon
Trayvon's
Martin.
Trayvon's mom and his
Aubrey's
dad.
yeah, reached out to her and
Yeah,
had a little video
yeah,
call to
yeah,
her, man.
saw
It's
that.
very powerful.
Saw
man.
that.
So kudos and shout out to Naomi Osaka.
Keep doing what
keep
you're
doing. Your
doing.
thing, young lady.
That's exactly right. And we're going to try to keep doing what we're doing. Listen, if you want to get R&R on sports at any time of the day or night, all you have to
miss, if you just happen to miss a part of this episode, I want to hear it again.
Tell them what to do.
Well, listen, man, you go to the KUDZUKIAN app. You can download it on the iOS, the App Store, and then on the Google Play side, you also have Google Play on Android.
How you spell KUDZUKIAN?
KUDZUKIAN.
All right, you put that in.
KUDZUKIAN.
And I guarantee you it'll come up because ain't nothing else in there like that, remotely like that. It's gonna come up.
So we got a lot of good stuff on there, though.
Always. With that, we're gonna say y'all take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Most importantly, I'm Howard Robertson,
and I am the great one, the marvelous one, the fantastic one.
Okay,
Larry Robinson, everybody. Have a wonderful remainder of the day. Peace.
I thought you were gonna say something like the constipated one.